Morning, students. Anyone please confirm is my voice is audible? Anyone please unmute your mic and confirm is my voice is audible? Okay, thank you. So from last day's session onwards, I'm starting to note down the names of students, okay, who are interacting in the classroom. Okay, so it will be helpful in future for us. Okay, leave it. For today's session, let us see about the pending problem left over in the previous session. Okay, so this is the last session for context-free grammar. Okay, so from the next session, I will start an important concept, very very important concept, another automata, that is push-run automata. Okay, so this is the last session for context-free grammar. So the next session is that is session number 6. Okay, we'll start in push-run automata in session number 6. So very important concept. Without attending the class, it is very difficult for you, okay, to understand push-run automata. Okay, so push-run automata, designing the push-run automata is somewhat complex than your normal finite automata. Okay, so let us see the previous problem, the pending problem. Okay, so a grammar is given, that is the production rule is given. Show that this grammar is ambiguous grammar. Okay, so what do you mean by ambiguity? Kindly post in the chat box. What do you mean by ambiguity? I will start to note down the names. What do you mean by ambiguity? So my voice is not clear, Sanjay Charan. I'm asking you students, what do you mean by ambiguity? Ambiguous. What do you mean by ambiguous grammar? Yes, uncertainty, yes, it is a problem. Okay. Yes, Nandini is right. More than one derivation. Okay, more than one derivation in particular. More than one, you can able to draw more than one leftmost tree. You can, if you can able to draw more than rightmost tree, or you can able to draw more than one leftmost as well as rightmost, means that grammar which is an ambiguous grammar. Okay, so ambiguity, which is the uncertainty problem, is, and so it is right uncertainty problem, but you should avoid the ambiguity problem. Okay, so how to remove ambiguity, which is not being the part of TOC concept, it is being the part of compiler for the subject which will be for the next semester. Okay, so as of now, we just remember the concept of ambiguous grammar. Okay, so why should we remove the ambiguity means, at the compilation time there should be only one code for a program. Okay, if it is more than one code means that is the uncertainty problem. Okay, there should be only one compilation code. That is why we should remove ambiguity before proceeding the grammar. Okay, so here I will start to uh, show that this grammar is ambiguous. Okay, so in the last session, so I did already execute one grammar. This grammar, which is also this grammar, which is also a part of ambiguous grammar. So for this grammar, so I did already draw left derivation tree and two leftmost derivation tree. Okay. So for the grammar, I can able to draw one or more left derivation tree. So thus the grammar is ambiguous. This is the one way of proving a grammar is ambiguous. Okay. So two left derivation tree, right? In particular, two left derivation trees for the same grammar. So this grammar is ambiguous grammar. So in another way, so for this program, so I will try to uh, apply one leftmost and one rightmost. Okay, that is parse tree. one leftmost parse tree, one rightmost parse tree. So before drawing parse trees, I will write the derivation. Okay, leftmost derivation. The first one, leftmost derivation. So see, I will start with the starting symbol S and SPS. Yes. Because this production rule contains the non-terminals, right? So I will start this. So, so in the left side, I will replace again S by S, B, S. Okay, then BS. This is my choice. I will move on my based on my choice. So yes, I can replace the S by A, AB, S, BS. At a time, you can apply only one production rule in the derivation. Then another S replaced by A also, B, S. Then this S is also replaced by A, A, B, A, B, A. This is the string. Okay, A, B, A, B, A. Okay. Next, I will apply rightmost derivation for the same string A, B, A, B, A. So yes, which is replaced by my SPS. So my goal is I want to derive the string AB, ABA. So according to that, I will choose the choice in the next step. So this S replaced by again SB, SBS. Okay. Then this S which is replaced by A, SB, SBA. So very simple. SB again this is replaced by A, B, A. Again this is replaced by A, B, A, B, A. Okay. It is the string. Next step, I'm going to draw derivation tree, parse tree. Okay. Parse tree. First parse tree, leftmost parse tree. Left derivation tree. So yes, based on the previous derivation, so I will execute this parse tree. Yes, B, yes. Okay. Then this yes, which is also replaced by yes, B, yes. And this A, this S is replaced by A, here to A, and here to A, right? So what's the yield? Yield means the last terminals available in the leaf node. Okay, this is the yield. AB, ABA. Okay, so this is one type of tree. So another type of tree, rightmost derivation tree. From the derivation itself, we can understand. So both in each step, see here, the productions are the in-between forms are different for both leftmost and rightmost. That is, the grammar is ambiguous grammar. S, B, S. Then yes, this S is again replaced by S, B, S. I will eliminate this. Then this S is replaced by A. This S is also replaced by A. This S is also replaced by A. See here, the two derivation which is not same. Okay, which is different forms. So, uh, so more than one parse tree for the same grammar. Thus, the grammar is ambiguous. Okay. So more than one parse tree for this grammar. because the grammar is ambiguous. So this problem is almost over. Next, unambiguous grammar. Okay, so unambiguous grammar means it generates exactly one parse tree. Okay, so that is unambiguous grammar. So this is the production. Then solution. Um, Here I am going to write the derivation for both leftmost and rightmost. Okay, so left derivation, leftmost derivation. I will start with x tends to AB, then A is replaced by AA, this is B, then this A which is replaced by um, again, okay, A, that's enough, A, B, then this B is replaced by B. It's very simple string AAB. Actually, this is the grammar for n number of A's and exactly only one B. Okay, B is followed by n number of A's, a single B. Okay, so next I will write rightmost derivation for this grammar. For the same string AAB, x tends to AB, x derives. For B, so I will replace directly B. For this A going to be replaced by AA, B, B, and this A is replaced by A, AA, B. So I will draw parse tree actually. It's the last problem for this type of pattern, context-free grammar. So first leftmost left derivation tree. So yes, which is replaced by yes, B, yes. Then this yes, which is replaced by, sorry, so I will apply wrong production. It's starting with x, right? X, which is replaced by AB. Then this A is replaced by AA. Then this B is replaced by here B. Again, this A is replaced by A. Okay. So rightmost derivation, right definition, right derivation tree. Again, x is starting with x replaced by derive AB. So B instead of B, so I will write B here. A is replaced by AA. Okay. Again, this A is replaced by A. See the parse tree, both are same, right? Both are looking like same. The same parse tree for this type of grammar. Thus, this grammar is ambiguous grammar. Okay. So this is the grammar for example for unambiguous grammar. See, unambiguous grammar. Just to remember the grammar. It's a very simple grammar. Okay. Sometimes they won't give any production rule. They will ask directly, prove some grammar is unambiguous. Okay. This is the one of the grammar, unambiguous grammar. because it has only one parse tree. Okay, for this production, so this grammar is unambiguous grammar. Okay, almost that problem part which is over. Next, let us see about some revision part in means of MCQ part. Okay, so almost the parse tree, almost the context free grammar, the part is over. Okay, so what do you mean by context free grammar? So which is the type of which type? Which type context free grammar? What's the type of the context free? Yes, type 3, type 2. Okay, so type 2 grammar. Okay, what's the type 3 grammar? What's the type 3 grammar? Ah, yes, regular. So regular languages, which is the type 3 language, type 2 language, context free language. Okay, the application of context free language, which is in the part of second phase of compiler. Okay, take compiler means which is in the part of second phase of compiler. In your, for example, in your XML, extensible markup language. Okay, in that language, your context free grammar, parse trees playing a major role to interpret your XML language. Okay, so these are some few applications of context free grammar. Okay, syntax, another name derivation tree. Then the another name for parse tree, which is derivation tree or syntax tree. This is the another name for parse tree. And then you will learn about definition of context free grammar. So, and there are two types of derivation in a grammar. Okay, what are two types of derivation in a grammar? First, definition. Definition means you will write about the tuples. Okay, how many tuples? Two. Nandita, wait. How many tuples? Yes, four tuples, right? VTPS or okay, VTPS or NTPS. Okay, in your textbook, they are using instead of N, V. Okay, VTPS. Sometimes some textbook authors prefer NTPS. Okay, so tuples of context-free grammar for VTPS. If you are asking a definition of context-free grammar means you should write the tuples only. Okay. Next, see derivation using a grammar. This is the one part actually. Actually, types of derivation means actually here types, not types, two approaches in derivation. So I will write in the chat box two approaches. The first approaches, which is recursive inference. This is the one way of approaching derivation. Okay, and uh, the second one is derivation. We are using the derivations only because it is very easy to apply. See here, this is actually two approaches of grammar. How to derive the grammar, which is following the two approaches. The first one, so see here, this is the important two mark, recursive inference. The recursive inference means it follows from body to head. Okay, recursive inference. That is, you are applying the rule in the mode of body to head. Okay, so derivation means we are using mostly the derivation only. Derivation means head to body. Okay, right? We will start in the start symbol, right? Head to body. Okay. So in the derivation only, actually there are two types. The second type derivation, right? In the derivation only already there are two types. That is leftmost derivation, rightmost derivation. Okay. So don't forget the first term, recursive inference, which is the term, which is the approach used to derive the grammar. Okay. That it which is follows body to head. We will start with the body. Okay. Then move to the head. That is why it is called recursive inference. Then derivation means leftmost, rightmost derivation. Then we'll learn about one technical term, sentential form. Sentential form. What do you mean by sentential form? This is the one of the important two marks. Kindly note down these technical terms. Okay, sentential form and problems related. Design the context-free grammar for the following language. Sometimes they will given language as input. You will write the context-free grammar for the respective language. Sometimes they have given grammar as input, which is the very easiest one. They have given grammar as input and ask you to write the language for the respective grammar. Okay, these are all the important problems. Uh, then what another terms parse tree and problems under parse tree. Parse tree one important uncertainty problem in parse tree, which is ambiguity problem. Okay, some important problem in ambiguity. So this part is almost over. So I will next move to the MCQ part. Okay, this is the revision of this part. Okay, quiz. Let us start with the quiz. First one. Post in your chat box. Context-free grammar. Body to head. Head to body means you are starting with S tends to AB, right? Yes, which is the head. Okay. Starting symbol. You are starting with the starting symbol. Okay. In body means right side values. Okay. So what are the values in right side? That's the body. Okay. You will concentrate on right side. Okay. So right to left. You are moving right to left. But derivation means you are moving left to right. Okay. So that is head to body when body to head. So I will have some notes. Okay, I will upload the notes once the unit 3 is over. Okay, in that notes, one example for recursive inference is there. Okay. Okay, C. Context-free grammar can be recognized by context-free grammar can be recognized by Wishton automata. Yes. Let me check. Actually, two-way linear bounded automata. That automata also accept context-free grammar. Okay. Two-way linear bounded automata. Okay, just keep it in mind. Pushdown automata as well as linear bounded automata. Pushdown automata, which is in your syllabus. Okay. Next, context-free languages are closed under what? Actually, regular languages are closed under union, then concatenation, and clean closure, right? So don't forget, regular languages are closed under union, concatenation, and clean closure. So context-free languages are closed under what? The regular language, not three. Almost it is closed under eight things. Properties of regular languages. On that, we will see about homomorphism, inverse homomorphism, a lot of things. Okay, Sanjay Charan, choose the option union clean closure. Okay, any other option? So Kirtana will opt A. Okay, actually this is the new part. Anyway, I'll just try out. Okay, what's the answer? So remember here, context-free languages are not closed under intersection and complement. Okay, keep it in mind. Context-free languages are not closed under intersection and complement. See, the first option intersection is there, right? In this D option, a complement is there. Okay, so the B option only union clean closure. Okay, this is the right one. So context-free languages are not closed under intersection and complement. Okay, so B, which is the right one. Take a paper and try to solve the problem. Actually, this is not a big one problem. Okay, so take your 5 minutes. I think 2 minutes more than enough, or 1 minute is more than enough to solve this type of problem. Nandini, just you are posting the answer like 3. Okay, then your option. Then only I can able to. This is for which question? 2 or 3. I'm asking you students to write choose your option. Prefix with your question number 3. 3 is for C. Okay, any other thing? Only few people are here answering. So see here parallel, I will note down your names. Nandini, Swati D, Rakesh, Vignesh, Sanjay Charan, Anshul, Kirtana. What about others? Because I'm very new to A section as well as a B section, how can I give the mark if they're asking me to put a mark for TOC, internal marks? How can I give the mark based? Okay. Your assignments as well as your quiz, weekly test, as well as who are all attending the classrooms. Okay. Based on this only, I can able to give the mark. What about Kaushika? For 3B, is it right? See here, actually in the production rule, how many production rule? Only two. Hariharan choosing B. Anyone please to try out in the different way? Actually, only one production rule is here, right? G equals BTPS, B for non-terminals, yes, T for terminals. Only one production rule is added here. Yes tends to yes, yes, right? Next one, which is for starting symbol, yes. Actually, in the production rule, only terminals, only non-terminals are there in the production rule. No any terminals. A, okay, A which is not added in your production. Okay, what will be the answer? Yes, Kausika, Kirtana, Nandini, those persons are right. Okay, because only the non-terminals part, that is recursive part, only is added in your production rule. Okay, that recursive part should be replaced by terminals. Then only you can derive something, right? So unless you can't derive anything, okay. So A, which is the right one. Okay, for this question, A, which is the right one. Okay, empty. Okay. Next, for this. Which of the following statement is false? False. What about B? B, which is actually true, right? A context-free language is also a regular language. Yes. Context, B part, which is right one. Type 2 grammar, which supports type 3 also. So since context-free grammar, which is type 2, it supports type 3 also. But it does not support more than type 0 or type 1. Okay, sorry, this is actually I'm writing here for true. I will choose for here true. Okay, but the context free language is also recursive enumerable language. This is false statement. Okay, the context free language is also a regular language. Okay, which supports regular language also, but a context free language which doesn't support recursive enumerable language. This is the false statement, but I will choose true statement. Next, fifth one. Take a paper again. Take a paper and work on it. Because some production rules are here. Just you have to find out the language, the respective language for this production rule. Don't leave from the class Google Classroom. So I will also mark those person. For fifth one. Is that actually the production rule? Yes, brings A triple one or S1, which is called one, not S1, which is S non-terminal, one terminal. Okay. Then A means it brings A0 or 00. I'm using a different constant near the text. That is why it brings S1 like this. You can replace S by A triple one or S1. Okay, what about others? Okay, Kaushika, Akash. We will add one more name, Akash here. Okay, so everyone is A. Okay, yes, A is the right. The context-free grammar. Again, the protection rules are given. You have to write in their sentence form. What about this protection rule? Hariharan, A means, sorry, it is about fifth, right? So guys, please, uh, before your option, you could write, okay, 5 for 5A. So what about 6? Gods and Preeti, these people are leaving. Okay. Swati, this is for 6, right? Okay, for 6, A. Okay. Equal number of zeros and ones. Okay, so this is the production rule for, so see, you have to remember the production rule. This is the production rule which is helpful for writing the languages, equal number of zeros and ones. Sometimes you have to remember the production rules. Okay, which will help you in the problematic part of writing the production rule for a given language. The grammar can be defined as, this is the yes tuples. See, very simple. For this A7, 7 for, what does yes means? Okay, good. Very simple. Yes for starting variable. Okay, starting variable. Variable means non-terminal. For 8, which among the following cannot be accepted by a regular grammar? For question number 8. Okay. Question number 8. D. What about others? Okay. Yes. 0 power n, 1 power n. Okay. Because it has to remember some things. If 0 is appeared 5 times, means 1 has to appear again 5 times. That part should be remembered. Okay, how to a language remember this part means a language has to need a memory. Okay, but a lack of memory in regular language. That is why a regular language does not accept type 2 languages. 0 power n, so 1 power n. So which is, those are all the type 2 languages. So regular language can't able to give type 2 languages. So Pushton automata, you can draw Pushton automata for 0 power n, 1 power n. Important part B question in Pushton automata. So how draw Pushton automata for 0 power n, 1 power n. Okay. So D is the right answer. Which of the expression is appropriate for production, which is in the form A tends to B. Okay. So where A belongs to B, yes, A belongs to variable and B belongs to what? But in grammar, we should use uppercase in the leftmost variables. So anyway, leave it. This is just for making you confusion state. Okay. So nothing, 8 question. So 9 to 1. Way. So what about any other option? Only right side variable is that. If it is only variable is available in right side means you can't derive anything. Okay. It be a empty language, right? If the right side, if you are using only variable means you can't derive anything. B means yes means see here S means starting state, right? Starting variable. Okay. B variable sigma input. Okay. See here, terminals is nothing but a input. Input some operators, right? V one B plus sigma or B plus sigma closure. Recursively they can be available, right? Yes, Harikaran, right. Recursively they can be available, not a single one. Okay. So the exact one is B plus sigma whole closure. Okay, sometimes they can appear, sometimes they may not appear, sometimes they can appear in 2 times, 2 variables, 2 terminals. Okay, it is also possible. Okay. The last question. This is the important 2 mark. So write the grammar for the palindrome string over the alphabet A comma B or 0 comma 1. Which is one of the important question. 10C. Okay, very fast they give an answer. What about others? C. Yes, C only. Okay. So can you write? Is anyone please try to write the production rule for A over the string A comma B for palindrome? Yes. A, yes, A possible. 1, yes, 1, which is also possible. Sorry, B, yes. Then epsilon, which is also possible. A possible. Yes, B possible. Good. Very good. Okay, 5 production rules. Okay. Okay. Thank you, students, for your cooperation. Thank you very much. Is there any doubt? Then unmute your mic and ask them.